How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my preview for Nottingham Forest versus Millwall at the Den on Saturday. So, yeah, obviously, Forest's first game back after that incredible FA Cup win against Arsenal. It's fantastic, wasn't it? Something though that I really liked from Cooper's post-match interview was not just the fact of how he was bigging up the boys, and obviously that's something massive he has to do, but it was the way that he was like focused straight on to Saturday. Now we go on to Millwall, and we really want to beat Millwall, and it's showing just how focused he is, not just on doing well in the cups and the high moments in terms of that, but how focused he is on the league. Going into a big game against Millwall. They are only a point below us, and they have a game in hand on us. They're sitting 11th at the minute, so it's an important one that we want to win. And if you want to be getting in the playoffs, you have to beat the teams in and around you, and we have to really look to take full advantage of these sorts of games. Millwall, on the back of a 2-1 loss to Premier League opposition in the FA Cup in Millwall, in Crystal Palace, and then there's, I looked at their league form, and it's kind of very mixed. They'll win a game, lose a game, draw a game. Kind of, they don't really seem to go on a run and build up wins or build up, a poor run of losses or whatever. They're sort of just kind of just go along with it, really. They sort of win a game or two, and then they win and lose and draw, or lose a couple. They're there or thereabouts, and the way that they play, and not the way that they play, but the form that they're displaying is kind of a mid-table form. You expect them to probably finish at 11th, maybe at the end of the season, which kind of feels weird to say that, because they're only a point below us with a game in hand, and we're sat here being like, we're looking to try and get, playoffs, potentially, maybe sneak automatics. Whereas we're saying about Millwall, they're a mid-table side, and You got to think, in the league, we're 2 games, 2 losses out of our last 2. We really need to sort of bounce back in terms of our league form. Obviously, our first game of the year was postponed against Barnsley. I don't know. You look at it like that, and you think maybe, why they've got no reason why they can't finish in that position. But I think one big thing that would kind of hinder Millwall would be the fact that if we could get Jed Wallace, he's probably their best player, definitely their most creative player. They're the most sort of crossed into the box and set pieces is, you'd suggest, from Jed Wallace, and he'll be a huge loss for them, and they'd be in big trouble if they didn't have a Jed Wallace in their side. So it's maybe not as easy as some fans think. You might think, it's Millwall should win that. And I do think we should win that. I do think we will win that. But you look at that, you think, well, maybe not, actually. If I'm going to go with a scoreline, I'm going to say 2-0 Forest. I was thinking 2. I'm going to say 2-0 Forest. I do think we will win it, but it's not going to be as easy as we think. It's not going to be one of those where it's a formality and we just go in there, get the 3 points and come home. It could be a bit more of a difficult one. Obviously, it's looking like they probably will have Jed Wallace for that game, and I'm not sure whether we're going to get him or whether he's going to Besiktas at the end of the season, or what's happening. It looks a bit up in the air. There's a lot of contradicting sort of articles. Some are saying that we're going to be giving them Taylor and Cash. Some are saying Taylor don't want to go and it's going to be just Cash. Some are saying that he wants to go to Besiktas on the pre-contract at the end of the season. So no one's really come out, a credible journalist really that I've seen. I might have missed some sort of stuff since I last looked, but it does kind of look like no one's really come out with too much credibility to say this is what's happening, this is what's going on, that's the case, that's not the case, don't listen to this sort of thing. That was never actually happening. Like, we were so close, or we thought we were so close to getting Josh Maggio in on deadline day in the summer, and everyone was thinking that he was there for a medical, and it was bang set to happen, and it didn't happen. And people were saying that he was never actually around. It was never on the cards for us to sign him. So you gotta really be you got to be careful with what you believe in terms of this. I know I've seen in the past there's been players who have been, virtually signing on the dotted line according to different sources, and then they've not even been in the country, for example, or they've not even left their house. So it's it's important to really make sure you get your sources right and that sort of thing. But I think with or without Jed Wallace, it should be a game that we do win. Obviously, there'll be more dangerous with him than without him. That's a formality. That's obvious to say, but I think we should beat them either way. I think it'll still be a little bit difficult, and it'll always be a challenge going to Millwall. Sort of what their fans bring, and they're a bit, you think of Middlesbrough, Millwall, they're a bit more of a physical side, and that sort of thing. They've got some decent players who can mix it up and play on the floor as well. They're not just a long hoofball side like people might think of Millwall. They can be physical, but they can mix it up as well. So it'll be really interesting to see sort of what approach they go for. But I do think that we've kind of got this one sorted. I do think it will be one that we do win, and obviously with the incredible highs of the Arsenal game, the players should be riding the wave and really believing in themselves and believing that they're unbeatable, because if you can go and beat Arsenal, who got a 0-0 draw in the Carabao Cup today against Liverpool, what can't you do? What can't you do? And I think it's huge that we did that, obviously, and hopefully the bounce can really take us on and move us up the table a bit. It'll be interesting to see who Cooper decides to start, whether he goes with Grabban up front, whether he gives Davis the start. I would kind of suggest it might be similar to the Arsenal game, really. That's sort of maybe what I would look to do. Give Davis an hour and then bring Grabban off the bench. Maybe that could be the sort of way that it goes for the end of the season. Grabban's getting older a little bit, so maybe he can't always play a full 90 minutes, but maybe as Davis is sort of adapting to Forest, or maybe getting his match sharpness up, he could maybe play an hour, cause a havoc, and once he starts tiring, bring Grabban on. And look at what it did against Arsenal. You never know what it could do against Millwall. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes with that. I'd really expect it to be a very similar lineup, to be honest, if not the same lineup. I think the only player maybe who you might I think there's two players, potentially three, who you could see changing within this side, possibly. That would be, like I mentioned, Grabban coming in for Davis if Cooper wants to go that way. Maybe Zinkernagel being dropped. I don't think he was... he wasn't bad against Arsenal, but I wouldn't say he was great. Now, maybe you could see Joe Lolly coming into the fray. I don't know if he's fit or not. Or you could actually see Forest go two up top with Johnson in behind and Grabban and Davis up front, maybe. Sort of like would it be a 5-2-1-2 sort of thing, potentially? I don't know if he will be dropped again. We don't really have too many options in that role now because of the likes of Mighton being injured and, Lolly, not too sure on him. He hasn't played in a long while. So it'll be interesting to see what he goes with in terms of that. But I think pretty much everything else, maybe Colback coming back in the midfield, and I think Richie Larea or how do you say it? Larea? I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's not going to be playing because he's still adapting and that sort of thing. So, and they're saying that Max Lowe might be coming back to training. I doubt he'll be fit, but maybe if he is, he could maybe slot in there. I do kind of expect that one to be called back. I think it'll be very unlikely if it's not, but yeah, I think it'll be a relatively similar side to the one that did face Arsenal. Sambring going back three of Cook, Wall and McKenna, who I think are going to be absolutely huge for us come the end of the season. I think they're going to be absolutely massive. And you look at Worrell, he's been excellent. McKenna, he does sometimes slide under the radar a little bit because he's kind of kept such a good form level since coming in. He very rarely makes mistakes, so people don't really have to say, oh, look how much he's improved from doing this or doing that. He's just been solid since coming in, and alongside Worrell and Cook, that could be an absolutely huge back three. They played so well against us, so disciplined, so solid at the back, physical, know when to go in and when to not go in, know when to step out with the ball, know when to just get rid of it, and that back three could be huge for us. Obviously Spence on the right, probably Colback on the left, two midfielders being Garner and Yates. I think he probably will play Zinkernagel. So I'd say Zinkernagel and Johnson out wide with Davis up front and Grabban to be brought on. So yeah, I said 2-0 Forest. I think the scorers will be Johnson and Davis. Why not? Let's see if Davis can score. Davis or Grabban, depending who's on the pitch at the time. So yeah, let us know down below in the comment section what you think the score will be, who you think will play, the lineup, that sort of thing. Smash the like button if you did enjoy this video, and subscribe if you do enjoy what you've seen around here. And come on, you Reds.